is freedom? Freedom to live where we like. Freedom to have any job we like. Freedom to choose a woman or a man. Freedom to read any literature. Or freedom not to read at all. We are free. And so what do we do with that freedom?
Muffin with butter and jam.
Yeah, sure.
And may I have a coffee?
Sorry?
Coffee?
Yeah, so we have our pour-overs. Now we have the Valdonovan, the Winter Blend, the Uganda. The Valdonovan is the most popular one. It's our heaviest we have right now. The Winter Blend is really popular. The Uganda is our single origin, it's our lightest one. It's also $1 extra, so it's special coffee, but...
Okay, which is the darkest?
Valdonovan.
Let me get
One of those. And it's for here to go. Anything else for you guys?
Yeah, I'll have a latte with cream sugar and vanilla.
I'm sorry?
I'll have a latte with cream and sugar.
So we have a cream and sugar at the bar over there.
Oh, okay.
Add it after.
You have caramel then?
No, we don't. I'm sorry. We only have sugar cane and simple syrup.
I'll have that.
Okay, well they have it at the bar at the end.
Okay.
And is regular milk okay?
No, you got soy?
We have oat and almond milk.
I'll take
Almond's $1 more though.
oat. And I'll also have a ham and cheese baguette.
Let me just check that. Yeah. Anything else?
Do you toast that?
No, we can't toast it.
You can't toast it?
Yeah.
What can you toast?
We have like our avocado toast. We have the egg muffin, English muffin. That's really it.
The egg English muffin?
Not egg, sorry. It's the English muffin. Butter and jam, butter.
Okay, so I'll have butter and jam English muffin.
Anything else?
Hey, you got the moves. You got the moves. No, that's it.
Do you have your name?
My name's Randy.
Rennie?
Randy, I'm sorry.
Randy, sorry. 2776 to
I have the green tea.
I think we got that started for you.
I got it.
Small Northern Light
It says 0.
maybe. Let me see. Yes, that is my receipt. Good?
There you go.
Thank you.
Randy?
Right here. Thank you.
Can't tell if the holiday theme or just this. Here you go.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'm coming.
Brandy, this
Hello.
is Christina, this is Brandy.
Oh my gosh!
Nice to meet you.
Who gets me out of rock when I'm a freaking
expanding rapidly, so 2020, we're opening up more locations throughout various places. I can't state yet, but I'm super excited. And the Gentleman's Factory isn't a macho man space where we speak about women and things of that sort. No, like it's really a space where Black and brown men connect and build, and we love to partner with women organizations to have conversations about our community. You know, so I'm super excited about tonight because I know that the conversation is going to be so rich, so enhanced, and you know, I pride the Gentleman's Factory being a safe space where we can really, you know, talk and be vulnerable and really open up and really build as a collective. So I'm super excited about tonight. You know, round of applause for Christina. Ready to get the party started. You know, so I'm super excited. And again, you know, have a good time. You know, make yourselves at home. And you know, I'm going to introduce now Siddiqa, where she'll get it started. All right? Thank you, everyone. Round of applause for Siddiqa.
Sir, I'm really grateful to be here. Look at that. Oh, man, you see me? This is a gift from my God. I'm here to talk about an amazing woman. I got to know her at our job. She is an administrative law judge with the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. But more than that, I want to tell you a little bit about some of the things she did before she got to OTDA and became a judge. Christina Bonani. Christina Claudette Bonani. Okay. Is not just an administrative law judge. Her passion and her heart is with education. She's an educator. She's a speaker. And she uses that tool through her company called Progressive Education Consulting Group. I always want to get it. I used to be teased and I call it PEG. But it's Progressive Education Consulting Group, where she doesn't just do speeches or workshops that are just where she's lecturing, but she really pours in. She also does personal consultation because her premise or her heart's desire is that people are built up or cultivated professionally. That's the woman I met. And funny enough, I was her supervisor when she came to the Office of Temporary Disability Assistance. But in getting to know her, I learned and gleaned so much from her and from her passion about education, her passion about professional development. And because she's that person, she didn't want to just stop there with the young people. She didn't want to stop there with college students. She didn't want to stop with just building and supporting school leadership. She said, you know what, women have some things we need to get off our chest. Women have some things they need so that they can develop professionally. I want them to have a safe space because her heart is for the community. She is a community builder. And so, she said, I'm going to start mentoring up. And I said, that's great. Actually, let me backtrack. Let me tell you how dope she is. I'm supposed to be supervising her, talking about cases and training her, whatever, and she was super dope and smart. So the training was like, do this, do that. She had it. It was like, so we could just talk, we could just rap because she had it. She's very smart, she's highly intelligent. And I began to share with her my heart for people who complain about millennials, and I got sick of it. I'm like, stop complaining if you're not gonna help. What you gonna do? Stop whining about how they this, they that, they the third. And me whining turned into me turning it into a business. And all I did was whine. She heard more than a whine because she is a supporter. She's a resource broker. That's who she is. Next thing you know, I have a mentoring development program because of the people that she set my way. So she recruits, she mentors, she starts businesses, and then she says, you know what, I don't want to just do my thing, but I want to pour in. Who can I pour into? Who's my audience? And she looks for an audience to serve. She's truly a servant. That's who Christina is. And I really appreciate her. She's amazing. And so if you link up with her, and you link up with Mentoring Up, you are definitely going to excel. And then when she told me she was doing this thing at the Gentleman's Factory, which, by the way, I'm a woman. Clearly, I'm not a gentleman. If you don't know, I was born one. This is what it is. But I am absolutely an ally of the Gentleman's Factory, secretly. I've been to a bunch of things. I don't think Jeff even knows who I am. I'll be in the club. Because they have some dope programs here. I mean, it's amazing. And so with his mission and with her mission and the collaborative effort, you're going to get to see some amazing and transformative dialogue happen today. And this is attributed to no other than not just, I would say, Mentoring Up, all the people that are part of Mentoring Up, the board, they're amazing, but the visionary, who is Christina Claudette Flores. I'm a ripper, so you know I jumped up with that. Wow, Sadiqa, can I you want my mic? Can I check it? 1, 2, 1, 2. Check it. All right. Wow, thank you so much. That was incredibly moving. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for sharing in this experience, for being a part of this. Every person that is here is super valuable, and it means a lot to me, right? You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here, and that means something. So give yourselves a round of applause. So what is Mentoring Up? Okay. As Sadiqa said, I'm a person who, for some reason, my mind is very, what's the problem, what's the solution? That's just the way my mind works. It might be having been a litigator and having the training of what's the problem, find the solution in a case, but that's just how I think about everything. So 2 of my very close friends, one is my best friend of 20-something years, Amanda, Sonny, and her cousin Sasheen Sonny. She's downstairs working, that's okay. We would do what many of you in this room do. We would brunch. We brunch. How many people here brunch? How many people here brunch, y'all? Let's be honest. Okay. So we brunch. Thank you, Duan. Men brunch too. Holla. So we would brunch. And during brunch, we would have these amazing conversations. Like crazy amazing. And I would do these birthday gatherings where I would invite my girls, and we would again have these amazing conversations. And one day, a young lady who's a friend and a mentee of mine was just like, why don't you do this all the time? Because this is amazing. Like, why does this only happen on your birthday? And I'm like, well, it takes time to plan this, and I don't really want to do this on more than my birthday, but okay. And so brunching, having the conversations, I'm like, okay, there's something very special about this. There's something very special about a group of women coming into a space and just loving and encouraging and teaching and inspiring without any pretense, without any, what's your title, what's your degree, what school did you go to, what are your assets, none of that. None of that. Just, you're beautiful, I love you, I want you to do well just because you are. It's a very powerful experience. And so I get this kind of divine calling. And I really do consider it to be a divine calling. Because the one thing that I did not need in my life at that point was another thing to take care of. It's not what I needed. But you get the call, you gotta take it. And so I call Amanda, and she's like, I'm in. And let me tell you something. If anybody in this room has ever built anything, whether it was a business or a family or a career, you understand the power of the people who are like, I got you, let's do this. No questions, no how you gonna do it, no, okay, do you have, no, there was no, nothing. She was like, I'm in. Sasheen, same thing, I'm in. And that was it. That was it. That is Mentoring Up. It is a collective of women who believe in the power of women investing in women. And you are now a part of that family, right? It's not just women who believe in women investing in women. It's women and men. We need you, brothers. Yes. We need you. We really do need you. You are very much a crucial aspect of the community that I see in my head. We can't do it
without your participation, your engagement. And so I am very excited, very, very excited about this dialogue, this conversation. Our events up until this point have been all female. So this is going to be pretty interesting. This is going to be a different perspective. We're going to get a lot of different voices. And I have to ask the question, how many people here have been to a Mentoring Up event before? Okay, so we have a lot of newbies. A lot of newbies. So here's some ground rules. We've all been to functions where you have these brilliant panelists and you listen and you're like, wow, that was awesome. And then you go home and that's it. That's not what this is going to be. The way we do our events is it's an open dialogue. Yes, we have amazing panelists. Yes, I have questions and I'm going to facilitate a dialogue. But you, I want to hear you. If something is said and you're like, okay, I want to know more about that. Expound on that. You know what? That resonates with me for X reason. Raise your hand. We will yield the floor to you. This is a conversation. And each and every single one of you has something very powerful to add. So I want you to speak. You know, I want you to, do the finger, that West Indian finger. I don't know what that is. What is that? It's like the... They do this thing. Anyway. Just put the finger up. Just put the finger up. Shout out to my sister. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. I want you to speak. I want to hear you. In my perfect world, every single person in this room would speak at some point during this dialogue. Okay? Now, the three pillars that are at the foundation, that really create the foundation of Mentoring Up, is physical and mental wellness, wealth building, and relationship building. Two components that every healthy relationship should have. And there are probably more than two, but there are two that I'm looking for. Whoa, whoa! I said what the ground rules were. I said it, right? I just said it. That was like 2 seconds ago. Come on, guys. And I come from a family educated. I will just ignore you. Yes.
Communication.
Ooh, great one. 100% accurate, but one layer deeper. Because to have healthy communication, you need this. Understanding is good, but not what I'm looking for.
Respect.
Respect is great. Trust is great.
Listening.
Listening is great. Come on.
What is that? Honesty.
Honesty. You need truth. You need the truth. Because guess what? You can't communicate if you're not being honest. You're just communicating lies. That's not communication. It has to be honest. What's the other component of a healthy, this one's a little bit harder, of a healthy relationship? Come on. Try me. Try me. Think of the relationships that you have. The relationships with Cece?
Loyalty.
Loyalty is good, yes, very important.
Like dispute, debate kind of things on a positive note. I don't know.
Dispute, debate. You definitely need to have that. You need to be able to duke it out. Shartina?
Consistency.
That's good. I like that one. I hope y'all taking notes. I told y'all, the jewels are here. The jewels are here. I thought we gave you a pen and some paper.
Transparency.
Transparency is good. I think that equates to the truth.
I would say a judgment-free zone.
Judgment-free zone. We like that.
Shared value.
Okay, she's swimming in the pool. You're swimming in the pool. That's it. But there's a word that I'm thinking of. And for those of you who are church, you can probably guess what the word is because it's used often.
Equality.
Shared values. Come on.
Equally yoked.
Yes. Equally yoked. Donna, yes, okay. Okay, you're saying it, but you're not saying agreement. I knew once I said that would be like, oh, okay. You need agreement. You need to be in one accord. How many of us have had a boss or a friend or a significant other and it's like, gosh, I really like you, but we are not on the same page. And it doesn't matter how much you like someone. It doesn't matter how kind they are, how sweet they are. If you are not on the same page, that relationship is not going to work. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. So, on that note, I'm going to introduce our panelists. And I gotta tell you y'all, yes, I'm so excited. I come to Brooklyn and like all the Brooklyn in me just comes out. I'm like, really girl, come on. This panel is off the chain. Talk about divinely put together. I am so excited. I'm gonna read their bios, but they are so much more than what I'm going to say. Because I know each of them, and I just can't. Let me read the bios, okay? I'm gonna start with Benjamin Calixte. Benjamin is a certified professional coach where he practices a holistic approach to health and wellness. He is also the co-founder and owner of therapyforblackmen.org, a platform. Should I say it again? therapyforblackmen.org. A platform supporting mental health for Black men by virtually introducing them to therapists in conjunction with a culturally relevant social media presence that offers daily inspiration and allows them to connect and encourage one another. Benjamin has over 15 years of experience in consumer relations and 8 years in a managerial capacity. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in psychology from Brooklyn College. He also earned a certification as a life and executive coach from New York University, my alma mater, Benjamin Calixte. Next up is his wife. She has been featured on 107.5's WBLS, The Quiet Storm, with Lenny Green. Yes. Art and Soul Magazine, Ebony Magazine, and has appeared on CBS Radio, Fox News Radio, ABC's Here and Now, Hot 97 Street Soldiers, with Lisa Evers, Cafe Mocha with hip hop legend MC Light, Lonnie Love, and Angelica Lamb. Her award-winning book, Naked and Transparent, 6 Vital Tools for Knowing Yourself and Attracting Healthy Relationships, is for the person who is suffering in silence from rejection, abandonment, abuse, low self-esteem, hurt, pain, and many other areas. Woo! Next, I would like to introduce Donna M. Rizzo. I felt right. Donna M. Yeah, Donna M. I feel like that's your stage name, Donna M. Donna M, I'm going to just put that out there, is a leading sports and entertainment industry marketing strategist with 10 plus years experience driving revenue via direct marketing and applied analytics, specializing in customer acquisition and engagement, segmentation strategy, and urban marketing. She currently serves as Senior Manager, Customer Retention Marketing for the world's largest audio entertainment company, SiriusXM plus Pandora. Accrediting much of her success to her community, Donna continues to volunteer her time, effort, and access to streamline the path to success for our often underserved but ever deserving communities of color. Last, but most certainly not least, Dewan A. Neal. Mr. Neal is an attorney in the Blank Rome Finance Restructuring and Bankruptcy Practice Group. DeJuan's practice backgrounds include areas such as cash flow and asset-based lending, split collateral lending, first lien, second lien, and mezzanine financing, acquisitions and leverage recapitalization, financing. You're smart. Okay, let me just say, you're smart. You're like freakishly smart. Okay. DeJuan is a resident of Harlem. He is a member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And you know, please say that. No sense, none. And I wanted to get those, but they didn't happen. That's okay. That's okay. And he sits on the executive board of Road to Success, an organization committed to the academic, personal, and professional development of all New York City youth. DeJuan was named to National Black Lawyers 2019 class of top 40 under 40. Yeah. Benjamin?
More or less the expectations that you would have, expectations that you have of yourself, to really be honest, because you can't project something onto someone you're not going to give back. So, you know, ultimately, as far as with the business, we really discussed that if it's going to interrupt our relationship with us and our kids, then it's not going to be something that's going to be conducive, right? Because, you know, it's time. You need to be able to spend that time with your children. You need to be able to spend that time so we can connect with one another. Because ultimately, you are running a business, but if it's at the expense of your relationship, then what's the point? So we really kind of grounded ourselves to know that, listen, if we need to kind of put the phones away, let's kind of get off of social media. You know, kids need to connect with us, need to talk with us. It's something that we try to really be cognizant of. Because, you know, like my son will come to Dad, I need to talk to him, and I don't want to hold the phone. I'd rather put the phone away to give, because kids are way up there. And you can see that the late nights can come, so that expectation is you need to have it of yourself first before you can have it of another person.
Fantastic. So, in the same vein of expectations, so my parents, my father's passed away, but my mother is a boomer. Generationally, she's a boomer. I'm technically a millennial. There's quite a difference in generationally between a boomer and a millennial. Now, it's fascinating how much, and I'm becoming more aware of this as I get older, even though my mother and I are of two, their expectations were, how has that shaped the decisions that you've made? Donna, you're looking at me, so I'm going to ask you first.
Yeah, we're both personal and corporate, right? So, well, I'll go corporate easiest for me. We know that boomer generation has stayed in jobs for 30, 40 years. They don't move. So if it's still paying your bills, you can be in the same position and that's good enough, right? I'll say for me, in terms of getting into my first job, I stayed there likely longer than I stayed there longer than I needed to. Because in my mind, my mother literally had one job her entire life, from 18 until 60, stayed there. But in my mind, what she was instilling in me is that one single job can get you what you need. Check it off. You got a great job, you have a great career, it's in something you want to do, stay there. There's no reason to leave. So when I actually left to pursue another career, we had a conversation of, why would you do that? Why are you leaving a job that's great? You had everything laid out for you got a pension, like all of this. So we definitely had that conversation and you could see the difference. And even now, even though she's retired, but I'm the one giving her advice, like, or talking to her about it, like, why didn't you choose another career? Why didn't you stay, And it's that boomer mentality of like, we're not sure what the next one is. Like, we're gonna stay here. We know that this is a guaranteed job and guaranteed paycheck that can help support our family, so we're gonna stay in it.
Say it again, please. One more time.
Somebody give me a pen and one. Again, I was serious. Say it again.
So we have to stop trying to get the approval of people, or our flight plans rather, from people who are afraid of heights. They won't understand it. They just won't.
I need that book. I need the book. She
No.
gotta write that book. Yeah.
Yeah, Amazon, guys, it's on Amazon. Buy the book. I have the book. I read the book.
So, perfect example, my mom, she meant well.
Right? But this is very real. Like this is like a real thing, right? And him just coming to the firm, he's much younger than me. So I am so excited that he comes and sits in my office, right? I work in finance, restructuring, and bankruptcy. I don't do the corporate work that he does. Different practice group. But he always finds his way to my office, right? Whether it be about drafting an email, whether it be about how to respond to an assignment that he received, and like, that is what brings me joy, right? Because like, I told him this like 3 weeks ago, and I'm like, I think about leaving the firm every once in a while, right? Every once in a while, I'm like, you know what, I'm over this. Like, I'm over this. But he's given me a renewed enthusiasm. He's given me a renewed enthusiasm because, like, I know that I have a purpose here, right? Like, there's a young man that comes to work every single day and is only at peace when he sees me.
Wow, wow.
So when we talk about being in corporate America, you have to think about your journey, what you've overcome, right? And you also have to understand, like, yes, I've overcome a lot, but you earned it. They're not doing me no favors by allowing me to sit in that office and cutting me a check every 2 weeks. I work just as hard as everybody else. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't work twice as hard. I don't. And I will not work twice as hard.
Oh, that's good.
I won't. Why would I? Because then it speaks to the narrative that they are twice as better than me. Twice as good as me. I don't buy that. I work just as hard as everybody else, and you leaving at 7, I might stay till 7:05 maybe.
Don't have it all together. You know, I struggled on Friday. I struggled on Thursday. It was hard for me to get out of bed, but I'm still here. There is more power for my mentees, for my sisters, for my nieces, seeing that and going, oh, okay, so when I have that experience, oh, that's normal? I'm not crazy? Who knew? And I don't necessarily feel like my parents' generation and my parents were comfortable displaying that level of emotion. Everybody was like, no, she got his parents too. No. So that's a part of our evolution. That's a part of how we are growing. Now, leaning in. Is everybody familiar with the term leaning in?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a period where I hated the term leaning in. I was like, okay, we're using it too much. It's too much. Okay, I get it. Almighty green.
This money.
That's
right?
almighty green.
Yeah, so both of us want to pitch this idea of let's go and do it. And then, you know, on the side, that spending more time with them, we would develop personal relationships. Like, obviously, I'm in sports. I like sports. So we'll have conversations.
I told you, it's the open diet. Y'all can be asking questions. I'm just saying. Y'all may not have access down the road. Oh, I see the finger. I see you, Shirley. I see you. No, answer that question, then I got you.
I think for me, you know, my upbringing, my mother, we grew up together. You know, she's 16 years older. You know what I mean? So, you know, the things that we overcame as a team. You know what I mean? And the confidence that she instilled in me. It's your voice in the room that you're not in. Right. So you don't need a sponsor that's in LA. You can have a mentor that's in LA. You need a sponsor that works at your job. Right. Somebody that's in rooms that you actually are not in, but your name could be in. Right? Somebody that's speaking up and advocating on your behalf. That's where you don't need to spend 7 extra hours at the job. You need to be investing in a relationship with somebody and creating value outside of work. When people at your job realize that this is not all you do, they're like, wait a minute. Well, that's different. You mean you're a part of what? So what does that organization do? Those are the talking points that you want at work. You don't want to talk about the work. You know what you do, they know what you do. You come, you do your work, and you go home, you will never create value in that corporation. It just won't happen.
Exceptions in terms of, well, if he did it, then every black person could do it. I'm not saying black people necessarily say that, but that's really not what's your excuse. And we don't tend to take into the equation of somebody's background. Right? I was blessed to come from a 2-family household. It really makes a difference. A lot of people have a different journey to get to where they have to, but we try to put everybody in the same pool.
Years goals, right? We talk about goals, things like that. So what can Black women do to support you guys with the day-to-day grind? You know, you being stressed out at work, you having your own lives. Let's say if your partner probably is just like a hustler, what can we do to wrap our arms around you? How can we support you? What is the what is that? What can we meet? Where can we meet?
Well, I think Black women have been doing it.
All right now. That was a good in a room full of Black women, that was definitely the right
That Black women have been doing. That's what I think.
Yeah, so I think, I'll just reiterate, I think, you know, they've been doing it in terms of that, you know, when you get home from a day and you could be able to speak to your spouse or to your partner and be able to debrief on what transpired at the job and tell them all of the things that you incur, like the biases, like listen, I was overlooked for this position, I knew I was being, you know, prepped, you know, I'm vetted, I have all the skills, but for some reason I'm not, and your significant other could give you advice, like, you know, don't worry about it. Listen, just keep doing what you're doing. Stay focused, keep your eyes on. And I think just the encouragement, embracing, you know, literally giving a hug when you meet it, because, you know, and that's where
I don't even want to mess up the response by adding it.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so I have yes, and then yes, and then yes.
Okay, so my response.
Hello.
My response was to her initial question about how do we help support and nurture our Black men that are in corporate America, right? So I'm married, and my husband is also an attorney working in corporate America. And there were things that I did, and I'm giving you a tangible example. In the evenings, we have 2 daughters, so we would try to split the load. So I bathe one, get her ready for bed, he takes the other. And sometimes when I did it myself, it was a lot, it was overwhelming, so I would depend on him to be coming home. And if he's not coming home, I'm like, you know, I get frustrated or whatever. And he is being one of the only Black men in his firm. You know, it's a predominantly white establishment. He does carry that in how he carries himself, right? So he does want to exceed and always wants to. He's not leaving if his boss is still in the office, period, right? Most of the time. So he's always pushing and working a little bit later. So what I did, I had to, you know what, Renette, I can do this. I'm gonna bathe them, put them to bed. So when he knows he has a little bit more time at work, that he can put that time in. So when he comes home, he works when he comes home too, but maybe not as much. And then it was, I know when he comes home, sometimes if I'm sitting there watching my shows and, you know, the TV's loud, it's hard for him to decompress. He needs a quiet time. So I may just take my stuff upstairs, you know, give him a quiet time, and he may get back on the table and do more work. But it was these things that I did to try to support him. You already got that bonus that year.
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah.
Nice message thanking me. You know, and he didn't have to do that. That wasn't even a part of it. I wasn't expecting it, but that was just a nice way of him saying thank you, because that helped him to be better at his job and to deal with work and, you know that family and home was taken care of. So sometimes we have to, even though we are professional women and we have to be striving and we're pushing too, we have to meet each other in the middle. Sometimes still be able to be wife, that, a little bit of that role where we home, the kids, the household. So, because, we wear both hats a lot of times, you're the wife, the mommy, taking care of the home, the household, and we have a spouse
taking care and helping support them as well. Not that they don't do that too, but you know, like I said, the meeting in the middle.
Oh, yeah, sure, and then, yeah. Renee.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that. I just wanted to express what you did is that you were team playing. Meaning that, you know, because it's a partnership.
Yes.
In terms of you figured out that how can I best help my husband, and you kind of more or less said, hey, if he's stressed, if he's this way when he comes, I want him to be able to relax.
Yes.
And you created that environment. And a lot of times, you know, when we go for a job will always detail what your duties are. In a relationship, it's the same thing. You should clearly define what your roles are in a relationship. Everybody has a role to play. So it's not just because you're a female, you know, stay in your place. Right? It's know your role. I need to know my role too as a man.
Because I know that's something I'm constantly working on. You can be a very friendly person, you can have some contacts, but really, yours are what I suspect are based on what you said, can bring money, that can bring business opportunities. What are your tips on that?
So for me, it always starts with being a good friend, right? And I know that sounds trivial, right? But like from when I was a little kid, I used to like, I promise you, and I'm gonna be out practice when I used to pray at night. I used to ask God to allow me to be a good friend. This is a little kid, right? Like be a good friend. So it's like my face don't sound all that savior. But no, I think that, you know, over the years of developing really strong friendships and relationships with people that I know genuinely care about me and showing that I genuinely care about other people, like, people are really, really open to connecting me with other people. He's going to be number one draft pick next year in the NBA. I guarantee you his phone won't stop ringing. I know because I call him. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, like, right? Because people want to be a part of the success story. So when people look at you and they're like, work hard, good personality, like, I want to spend some more time with this young man, right? That's all you want people to want to do is to want to invest in you. Yeah. And you got to deliver when people start investing in you. But all of that starts with having conversations. And you have to get outside of that small group of people that you may deal with at work. It's cool to have that group. You got to have it, right? That person there, you can walk into their office and be like, money. You got to have that person. You got to have it, right? But nothing ever great was really accomplished in your comfort zone, right? You got to step outside of your comfort zone, right? So yeah, you may not typically eat over there with them, but you may need to go have a seat over there with them, and you get to talking about what they're talking about. So what do you watch on TV? Did you watch so-and-so? Like, no, I don't watch that. you don't stop being you, right? No, I don't watch that. But what I did watch was, did you watch that? And they're like, no, what's that about? Oh, it's about A, B, and C. Now you start talking about things that entertain you. You're telling people about who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, wow, you found that funny? Like, you have these gatherings where the whole company gets together and you're like, oh, that's the one. And people in your practice area are like, how the hell do you know everybody? I have conversations with people, and people like me. You know what I'm saying? And I do good work. And then what happens is, those people that you're having those conversations, they may just be your peers, but eventually they won't be. Right? They'll continue to climb up that corporate ladder, right? Some of them will go off and work at other companies, and now you got to connect at another company. And before you know it, your network is spread out all throughout your industry. You know somewhere somebody doing something, somehow, and they all know you.
Woo. Amen.
I don't know your name. I don't want to call you name.
Jordana.
So, Jordana, you said something that was very important.
You know, I think as women, we think it's just natural for people to take care of themselves. You assume they know what self-care is. Helping with that man carve time for self-care maintenance is a start. They are focused on physical fitness, but no one...
In our relationship, I believe that our goal or our mission is to allow one another to grow and be an independent person without changing that person in essence. I know that that's our goal, for Cassandra to be Cassandra and never feel like Cassandra has to change or morph or mold in order to please Randy. Like, just please him and just make him happy because, I want to have a good day today, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to alter myself, who I truly am, in order to put him in a good place. That's what we don't want.
She said, I don't know if I can say this.
That's what we don't want. Because when we came together, we knew that we were okay apart. We knew that apart, I know I'm going to be bomb. I know I'm going to succeed. I know that everything that I want, I'm going to have, with or without you.
Yeah.
That's, both of us had that mentality before we got together. So when we came together, we wanted to maintain that kind of confidence that we had in ourselves, but just, come and merge together in all the goodness that we could find in one another.
Every part of me don't want to therapize this thing.
Please
Let me ask
do.
you, when the two of you are in a disagreement, as you said, you're both alpha male and alpha female. So when there's a disagreement, which part of you is disagreeing? Is it the inner little girl, or is it the adult woman?
Oh.
Because it depends on, we gotta talk about it.
Do it all the way. Yeah.
Though I will say this is turning into something a little bit different. Though I'm sure we can probably glean some lessons. I personally am an alpha, my boyfriend's an alpha, but if I may say, you don't have two bulls in the pen at the same time. And so I think why we work is because I know when to be like, all right, Roosevelt, you got it. And he knows when to be like, you know what, Tina, you got it. Or Chris, or Your Honor, whatever variation he wants to call me in the moment. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. They're like a million. And I think a part of that is, for us, is, I am me, he is him, but our relationship is incredibly valuable to both of us. It exists outside of us, but it's created by the two of us. So I think that ultimately, and a part of this for me personally was a maturity thing. It was coming to a place of being vulnerable enough to say, I want this. I want you and I want this. So no, I won't sacrifice me, but I'll sacrifice my ego.
There we go.
I'll sacrifice my arrogance. I'll sacrifice, maybe this time. I'll sacrifice that freaking path train that I cannot stand, and commute because I want this. And you've demonstrated that you are a man worth wanting. And this is a relationship worth wanting. So in your journey, I think it comes down to, Cassandra, I know you love you, and I love that about you, and that's not going to change. What you will have to come to understand is, how much do I want this relationship, and what part of me is operating in any given moment. And that's time. That is time. But you can't have two bulls in the pen at the same time. That's just not going to work. And you could miss out potentially on something really profound and powerful because you want to be right. Or you want to be a version of yourself that really isn't even you. That was you a year ago. You got to be able to let go of that. to go for, okay, I'm gonna stop now. All right. All right, and you two are gonna talk after this is over, okay? Y'all gonna talk, and it is 7:18. Okay, I'm gonna take 2 more questions. 3 more questions. Because my girl Maggie gotta speak. And then I have a closing question, okay? And then there's an after party, so don't worry. See you soon.
That's the next question.
That's not what I was saying. That's not what I asked. I wanted you to answer.
I'm very headstrong, very confident. My mental health is up to par. Sometimes I go through everybody goes through that depressional stage, which I just recently just climbed myself out of, because without the lows, you can't appreciate the highs. So I would say it could be better. Everybody has a place of improvement, but I'm such a go-getter that I'm always going to shake it off. Like, all right, you got this. Like, what is it do I need to do to the next step as far as my mental health? So I'm my biggest critic. Nobody's harder on me than me. Believe me, my mama right here. She's faces. My mom. That's me. My mom comes from a very hard-working Haitian. Baby.
That's your answer.
Sometimes slow down.
So
when is the appropriate time to slow down?
I'm sorry?
When is the appropriate times to slow down? Because I'm the type of person that's been fortunate and blessed to have opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Like, it just keeps coming to me. So it's like, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go after it because that's just me. So how do you be like, okay, wait, slow down, especially when you broke, like you have to say yes.
Go ahead, it's fine.
You have to ask, like, what am I doing it for, right?
Yes.
Right, that's what it is. If you're just going just to go, you don't need to do that, right? If there's something that you're trying to pursue, if you want those multiple streams of income because of X, if you realize the value in what you're doing, continue to do it, right? What's making you tick? What's keeping you going? And don't just do stuff just because you heard it on a podcast, right? Do stuff that actually charges you, that makes, even if you're still going, it's fun to do it, right? I'm working on my business. It's fun for me to do this, so it doesn't always seem like work. So that can be a part of the slowdown, right? You're here working, but in that moment, you're still catching these gems, right? So you're still moving, but you still got some slowdown in there, right? So, and I will say, when we talked about the difference in the generation, Mom was gonna get that, right? My mother has always told me, stay at that one job, like I told you. There are gonna be differences between another generation, between your friends who don't always see your vision, right? But you'll notice how those things grow and change from that. But just realize why you're doing this and understand what it is that's moving you and motivating you to make sure that it's not hurting your mental health and that you're not just going just to go.
I think I just want to piggyback off of everything that was said, because I think these are very important points that you can actually put into practice, right? Like, you want to leave here with things that are actionable. And ultimately, you should sit down with yourself, right? And figure out, like, why do I have this business? Why do I have this business? What are my goals for this business? What are my goals for this business, right? And as you start figuring out, like, why you're doing, you gotta figure out your why. You know what I'm saying? Once you figure out your why, everything else starts to kind of fall into place. And understand, there's value in saying no. There's value in saying no, right? Like, if I could always, it's just like when sneakers come out. Seriously, right? Like, when the sneakers
Do you say no? Do you say no to sneakers?
I say no to sneakers. Okay. Sometimes. So, but it's like when sneakers come out though, right? Like, there's a demand for it, right? Everybody wants those sneakers when they come out because they know they're only making, 100,000 or whatever, right? But like, if it's a shoe that you could go in the Foot Locker, you can go in the Champs, you can go in the Dr. J's, and you can get it. There's really no value there, right? Anybody can go get that shit, right? So it's the same thing with you and your job, right? Or your businesses, your businesses, right? If anybody can pick up the phone and call you and ask you to do a job tomorrow or the day after, like, where's the value in that? Was I really somebody that was high on your priority list? No. You put value in your business. You need me, you want to book me out a couple weeks at least, because I got other things that I'm doing. And you need that for yourself, so that you have a calendar and you have peace of mind, knowing what's coming. I'm not biting everything that shows up in front of me. know what I'm saying? Like, because my peace of mind I can't handle that. I have to have a calendar that says, all right, look, you know what? We're taking this day off. We're taking that day off. We got a book in 3 weeks from now. These jobs should create this amount of revenue. I'm only doing this for another 16 months because I'm gonna have enough money. See, these guys with these 93 streams of revenue and all that stuff, they got real money. Let's be honest. They got real money, they got real teams. You know what I'm saying? So people are like, oh, I'm getting money from here, I'm getting money. You know how much money he had before he got into the business over here? And how much money he had before he invested over here? We're not there yet. You got 93 businesses right now, you're not doing well. You focus and put your energy on what works for you. And you use those podcasts for motivation and inspiration, right? But you don't take what they're doing and apply to your life because you built different. Your life experiences are different. The things that you've accomplished are different. And where you're going is completely different.
Question, if you have some time.
Yeah, sure.
Is that okay?
Yes, but this is the last question.
Like Sissy said, I'm the mother of Rose. I am the head practitioner. Basically, what tips do you have to help black men to go to therapy? Because, you know, as far as I'm concerned, black male, and especially black Haitian male, they have so much ego. They have so much ego, and the ego cannot be measured. Because basically, what I'm saying, I'm talking about, I've been married for 32 years, basically. It's not every day that I have honey and milk. I do believe if someone can do it, I should be able to do it because I don't really run away for challenge. I like challenge. I like seeing people try and win. And I think this is the reason too that my daughter is kind of mini-me. And the problem that I have with those men, they know they're wrong for some stuff, but this ego does not allow them to voice it. And a lot of things that we encounter with men, like my husband is one of those, where you have to go with faces, with nonverbal cues to detect what they're. Because when I met him, I have to read his face to see what is going on inside. And when I ask him question, what just happened? Do you see that I have something? Yes, I do see that something is going on. And you have to push it in order for him to give you the answer. And he feels like you're very smart to even detect that something is going on. And the fact that some women, sometimes they're not paying attention to much. Excuse my French, because I came to America, I was turning 30, so the English is not that great. But
I think everybody here understands what you're saying.
So basically, it is a problem with black male or any male to even come out of themselves. It's okay to be wrong, but you have to know if you're wrong, this is where you're wrong and what can be done to fix it. But it seems that they feel like if something is wrong and they let you know that I am wrong, it's like you take over their men role, and then they don't feel like they're the men of the house, they don't feel like, and another thing, the men are very scared of very independent women, and it shouldn't be, because you should be proud when you have an independent, very highly educated woman, because that represents you, because this is part of you, this is your complement, this is how you, I don't know. I've been a teacher all my life. I had a degree in teaching back home at 21. And coming here in America, after my master's, I went back to teaching because I needed to challenge something. Because they get me upset They made me repeat a class when I was nursing. So when I finished, I went back and I taught nursing at City Tech for So basically, you need challenge in your life, and men, you have to understand that you can be wrong. It's okay to be wrong, but you just have to know how to fix it and how not to start over. Right. Okay? And so I need the tip to know how could you bring men to those therapy, because they don't like this word at all.
Let me get my daddy on the phone.
Are you open to going with him?
He's not going. Send him there in social media to see something. He doesn't do that. The only thing he does, go to work, watch TV, gym. Oh yes, gym, because he used to be a football player. Gym, 3 hours, 2 hours, workout. He's 5'11". He can just touch the floor without bending his knee.
I am so excited. We were supposed to finish 20 minutes ago. But we're here. There is an after party, okay? And I'm going to give you the address, okay? Everybody. Oh yeah, no, we don't. Jeff, do we have you on leave right now, right? Okay. So there's food and drink downstairs, okay? But there is going to be a point where I'm gonna start tapping y'all on the shoulder and saying it's time to go. And at that point, you are going to be going to the Gold Room BK, located at, everybody writing this down? 429 Rogers Avenue. It's like 5 minutes away. Brooklyn, New York. It's right there. 429 Rogers Avenue, and it's called the Gold Room BK. Okay, now before we close, close out, there are a few people I have to thank, and a few things that I need you to do. First of all, and I don't want to forget anyone, I want to thank Amanda Sawney and Shasheen Sawney. Arlene Santiago, who is another board member who couldn't be here. Tracy Vesselier. Alexandra Simon Promodi, our photographer. Richard Bernard, one of our volunteers. Rebecca. Shay by name. So the gentleman, that beautiful moisturizer from the Restore Shop, they're one of our product sponsors, so thank you to them. Gentleman's Factory. And two fabulous appetizers. Darius, who's downstairs probably cooking or moving food around. The food is delicious. It's him. He's amazing. Thank him. Tip your bartenders. Devin, thank you so much. Devin is probably at the bar right now. And who else? Shartina, our graphic designer. I also want everybody to take out your phone. Everyone, take out your phone, take out your phone, take out your phone. Go to Instagram. Follow Mentoring Up. Oh, and then go to LinkedIn and Facebook and do the same thing. Okay? Now.
Post anything, please tag us.
Yes. Hashtag Women Investing in Women, hashtag Mentoring Up, and tag us at Mentoring Up. Please. Last bit, what happens with Mentoring Up going forward? We are launching our website in 2020. If you go to mentoringup.org, you will see there's a splash page up, so it's under construction, which is very exciting. We have a Facebook group that we are growing, so please follow, comment, ask questions. Really, that's supposed to be the online version of this, right? So things are coming up, you see a great speaker, it could be anything, but we really want to keep this conversation going. In 2020, we plan on launching our mentor-mentee program, which I'm super excited about. So definitely like look out for that. And that is it for mentoring up, please.